So let's move on to the next one. So the next one's Marcin Tybura versus Maxim Grishin at 265 pounds. Yep. Marcin Tybura was originally scheduled to fight Alexander Romanov. That changed within the last few days, and now he's fighting Maxim Grishin. Marcin Tybura, he's 18-6. He's 34 years old, and he's 6 feet 3 inches tall. While he's typically a taller guy, he's fighting Maxim Grishin, who's also 6 feet 3 inches tall. He has 30 wins, 7 losses, and 2 draws. He's currently 36 years old.
Yep.
Marcin's been in the UFC for a long time, since 2016.
He's been around.
Yeah, he's
has
5
some
and
good
5.
UFC wins. Andrei Arlovsky, Stefan Struve.
Those are huge.
So he's got a couple of really big wins. He's also got a couple of really big losses in the UFC.
Well, yeah, he lost to Fabricio Verdum, but Verdum also was a champion.
And then he also lost to Derek Black Beast Lewis, a.k.a. My Balls is Hot. I can't give him a bad time for that loss because Derek Lewis was knocking everybody else out too.
Yeah, this is going to be a good fight. I don't typically like heavyweight fights, but this one looks to be like a high-action heavyweight fight.
It could be.
Marcin's like light on his feet. He moves around and he throws things and he kind of sticks and moves.
I think he has underrated striking.
Well, here's the problem that I have with his striking, though, is the fact that I feel like he's constantly trying to stay out of range of getting hit. He doesn't like to get hit. So he tries to stay far enough away to get or to not get hit, but also to land, and it makes him miss a lot of the punches that he's throwing. Yeah. And a lot of the punches that he connects, they're not at the proper distance, so they don't have the power to him.
Yeah.
I think that he's trying too much not to get hit, that he takes away from his own power when he's striking and makes him miss.
So Grishin is right now, he's coming up from 205. He's making his UFC debut on a week's notice, I think 6 days. He's coming over from the PFL where he fought, what was his name? Jordan, I've got it right here, Jordan Johnson.
Jordan Johnson, who's a monster.
He actually fought him twice. He beat him in one fight in decision, or went to a draw in the second fight.
Yeah, it was a draw in the second fight, but then because it was a tournament, each of the judges got to pick who they thought was the better fighter. All 3 of the judges picked Jordan, and he moved on in the tournament.
Yeah, so Jordan Johnson, even in the first fight, Jordan Johnson was able to use his wrestling to control Grishin. Grishin did have the better striking.
Yep.
He can pick people apart. My issue with this one is, so I picked Marcin Tybura. I picked him by decision because Tybura is one of those guys that can really fight anywhere. He can fight standing up. He can take it to the ground if he has to. We've seen it with Stefan Struve. We saw it with Andrei Arlovsky in both those wins. He took those guys down and just grounded them out. If he stays standing, I think he's got enough stand-up that he can make it a close fight. But I don't know if he'll win if he keeps it standing, which is why I think he's just going to work for the takedowns.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to want to keep it standing. His last 2 losses have come by a TKO knockout.
And Grishin's a knockout guy.
And, Grishin is definitely a knockout guy. But I think with Marcin, he's definitely going to try to close the distance. That's going to be his best bet to win. I feel like he's coming off of a win, but prior to that win, he lost 2 in a row by knock or TKO. Although, granted, one of them was Augusto Sakai, who's a monster.
We didn't know it at the time, but now it's like, okay, we know Sakai's the real deal.
He's the real deal. He's coming up, and he's a monster.
Yeah.
But Maxim Grishin, he's 30-7. He's only lost once since 2012.
Yeah, he's undefeated. My problem with it.
Well, he's not undefeated.
Well, yeah, but since 2012.
Yeah, he lost.
Just hasn't fought the same level of competition that Tybura's fought. He's also coming in on short notice. He's going up to heavyweight. I just think there's so many things that are going against Grishin that I couldn't pick him. I wanted to.
I wanted
to so bad.
We talked about this through text a little bit. But, here's the thing about it is, so, I tend to think that the lighter weight guys moving up do better. I've talked a lot about it on the shows. Another example of that right now, who's the guy fighting later, we'll see how it works for him, is Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo started struggling at 55. He went 3-2, and then he went down to 45. And he lost lost his
belt to Conor after dominating
at 45, and then he went down to 35, and he lost a split decision that Dana White actually thought he won, which put him in position for the fight that he's coming up in. But I just, I haven't really seen him look like he looked of early, and I feel like the moving down is not a good sign.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy because
We'll
it's
have
like
time to jump back on that later. Let's get on that one later.
Because even then, we could talk about that too with Frankie Edgar coming up next week.
Yeah.
He's another one of those guys that has gone down. He wanted to stay at 155 for his whole career, but he ended up going down.
The UFC convinced him to go down. I wonder how much they had to pay him to do that.
Well, he's all the way down to 135 now too.
Yeah. Well, and look, he hasn't been a champion since he was at 55.
He's supposed to be making his 135 debut, but we'll talk about it in the next one because his opponent backed out, and there's no name yet for a replacement.
So let's finish this one up real quick. Like we said, he fought in the PFL since 2012. He's got 17 wins and 2 draws. So he's not really doing bad.
He's also the older fighter.
Guys. He is the older fighters. And in this one right here, I actually chose Maxim Grishin to win by knockout in round 2.
Yeah.
So that gives us, so far on the entire early prelims, we don't have
we're
a single
opposite.
pick that's the same.
It's going to be crazy.
This is going to be interesting. One of us is going to probably do really good, and one of us is going to do really bad.
When I originally made my picks, I had Grishin by knockout round 1. Because I figured
I had Tybura first.
I figured he was gonna come in and he was just gonna blitz because he probably isn't as in shape right now. He's coming in on a week notice.
Well, I mean, he's been doing it long enough. He knows better.
Yeah, he should know better.
Yeah.
He's coming up to heavyweight, so he doesn't have to cut weight, so he's got that going for him. But I was like, dude, if he comes in on his UFC debut and just blitzes Tybura, that would be insane. But then I got to thinking about it, and I kept looking at it, and I'm like, there's no way. And so I couldn't bring myself to pick Grishin. I wanted to so bad.
I'll be curious to find out who has the longer reach. I think that's going to be a big factor in it.
Yeah, we could look that up.
Because what I feel like is if Grishin actually has the longer reach, which I feel like he will, just looking at the body structures, that's going to play into his advantage considering that Marcin likes to stand back a little bit and try to play at a safe distance.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. I would be curious to see that. I didn't see that when I was looking up the information, but it would be nice to have.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's going to the ground for a Tybura decision.
All right, and I got Grishin by TKO in round 2. So then we move. Actually, I got him by KO, but they're the same under the damn thing.